We have a little something to watch in the tropics. This is going to be in the North Atlantic. What's going on, guys? I'm certified meteorologist Jonathan Kegas, and in this video, we are going to talk about that new disturbance. It's in the North Atlantic. It is going to be impacting people around the Azores. So this is something that's not coming to the U.S. This is not going to be in the Caribbean. It's not going to be close, again, to the U.S. mainland, but it is going to bring some inclement weather to the Azores, and it could get a name. We're going to break that down. Also, we are going to take a closer look at the Western Atlantic, closer to the Caribbean, Gulf of Mexico, U.S., see if we have anything bubbling up there. And we also have a little bit of dust to talk about. It gets all the headlines this time of the year. May, June, July is typically Saharan dust season. It's one of the reasons why things are a little on the quieter side for the first couple of months of hurricane season. But we do have a little bit out there. We are going to break that down in this video, so stick around to the end for that. It's going to be entering the Caribbean over the next couple of days. All right. So here we go. Again, it's not anything crazy at this point. Hurricane Center only giving this a 10% shot over the next 2 days and a 10% chance over the next 10 days to develop tropical characteristics. Now, as I say that, it's a low potential, but we could get subtropical development out of this, and subtropical storms do get names. Now, with that subtropical development, what that means is it's kind of like a cyborg. I like to say it's a hybrid system, meaning that it's gaining some of its strength from what non-tropical storms do with the difference in temperature and pressure, but it also gets some of its strength from the warmer ocean waters like a fully tropical storm would. So anyway, there is the highlight area, and again, it's encompassing the Azores. For reference, here we go with Portugal. Here are the Azores right in there, and then that yellow kind of polygon, the yellow circle there drawn by the Hurricane Center right over the Azores. And again, it's a very large area of disturbed weather. To kind of illustrate that, to kind of highlight that further, I want to show you the vorticity. That's what it's called meteorologically. We're going to call it the model spin here, though. And you can kind of just see how broad and how unorganized. There are a lot of crazy colors on this map. We're going to break it down right now. See how it's kind of wide, this big, all the arrows here, this big counterclockwise flow. Again, this is going to be the larger circulation here, the larger envelope, if you will, of circulation. Notice how we have these kind of red blotches all over the place. So we have that kind of spin, several areas of that kind of embedded in that larger circulation. Watch what happens when I put it into motion. We kind of consolidate that just a little bit. So you kind of saw that little loop-to-loop, that little spiral in there. So this is going to be an early Wednesday morning, June 7th, and it's a little better organized. Still, it's certainly not a big red ball, and that's what you're looking for here for any kind of potential development, tropically at least, to get a very circular area there. And again, this is a few thousand feet above your head, but it's a little better defined. So over the next few days, I would not be surprised if we do have some sort of subtropical development, again, for us around the Azores, around Spain, Portugal, parts of Europe into the North Atlantic. Regardless of if it does, it is going to bring some pretty gusty winds, some very heavy rain, and some big-time wave action for us along Spain, Portugal, United Kingdom even, especially the kind of pinwheels away from the Azores. Again, you can kind of see those little specks here. Here are the Azores right in here, and then it already kind of loses. See how it tightened up just a little bit, and it's already very broad again as we get into the June 9th, June 10th realm. That is going to be 1 o'clock in the morning on June 10th, and you kind of see that there. So kind of nasty weather, though, for places like Ireland, Spain, Portugal, as this kind of meanders and becomes pretty large in the North Atlantic over the next few days. And again, there is an opportunity for, if it does start to gain a little bit of its strength from the warmer ocean waters, for this to be named by the National Hurricane Center. Of course, Arlene is done and gone. Been there, done that. It was a non-issue. It was never going to be an issue as it kind of skirted down the Gulf Coast of Florida and then just kind of fizzled out again as wind shear really beat this thing up as expected. The next named storm on the list is going to be Brett. So we're going to watch over the next few days. We'll see if that becomes Brett. On a widespread scale here, there's not much going on. It's typically quiet when we start hurricane season. Of course, we like that. There is the bigger system again, just to kind of give you reference. So that is the area that is highlighted by the National Hurricane Center, hanging by the Azores. And again, these brighter colors here represent the more intense thunderstorms. When you see like these bright whites here, I should say it's the colder cloud tops. It's a satellite infrared channel. And when it's big, bright red and purple like that, that means the cloud tops are very cold, which means they're high, which means the thunderstorms are intense. There's not much intensity with those showers around Bermuda and into Nova Scotia. There's really not much going on in the Gulf of Mexico, thankfully. See these thunderstorms here, very, very low on your screen, coming off of Africa, then trying to work towards Trinidad and Tobago. There's nothing intense for us there. And then also into the Eastern Pacific. What this is the Intertropical Convergence Zone, ITCZ for short. And we get this, and it kind of moves through the course of the year as it kind of follows the sun angle. But it's because of the conversion area of the trade winds coming off of Africa out of the north and southern hemisphere. And then with that convergent area, the wind coming together, kind of forcing those storms up. As I smacked the mic there, sorry about that. It forces up those thunderstorms, and we typically get that. Now, embedded in there, oftentimes if one cluster of thunderstorms can separate itself from that longer area of thunderstorm activity, we can get tropical development. That is not expected to happen with this round. We also have some thunderstorms even more intense in the Eastern Pacific. We'll watch that, but that should be something that stays for the fishes. Closer look to the Caribbean and into the United States. It's been really rocking in parts of the Dominican Republic and Haiti with some thunderstorms, some flooding issues been going on. Thankfully, we are clearing things out and drying things out. There's some inclement weather there towards the ITCZ into Panama, into Honduras, Nicaragua as well, Costa Rica. And then just a few thunderstorms over the South American mainland here. Nothing threatening, typically in an El Nino year, which we're not technically in yet, but we are likely going to head into one as we get deeper into the summer, deeper into hurricane season. We have a lot of wind shear kind of cutting across the Gulf of Mexico and into the Caribbean, which really, really makes it hostile for storms to develop. Again, that's a good thing for us. It's not the end-all, be-all, but that's something that we are going to watch going forward here. Also worth noting, though, the water is jet fuel right now. It's already way above normal, so there's going to be that kind of thing. If we can get a strong El Nino to develop by the peak of hurricane season, that should help. But again, water temperatures, super, super warm. All right, we'll end it here. Mentioned about the dust earlier in the video. And first of all, if you are wanting to stay updated on all things tropics this hurricane season, you have to hit subscribe. Please do that. If you're finding this content helpful, hit that thumbs up button as well. That really does help us out a lot. You may be noticing some milky skies in the Lesser Antilles, Barbados, Martinique, Trinidad and Tobago, into the Virgin Islands. That is because of dust from the Sahara Desert. Again, this is typical this time of the year. We start to see kind of dust eject out from the African continent through the Cabo Verde Islands and then across the Atlantic Ocean. It's nothing too crazy. This isn't one of those big dust outbreaks. You're going to see a lot of evidence of it. And I don't think this round makes it to the United States mainland, but you see that brown there. That's representative of the satellite channel picking up some dust there through the Lesser Antilles, Martinique again, Barbados, getting in on some of that dust as well. I want to show you as we kind of end this video here, the model forecast for the dust. And I have the arrows overlaid. That's the kind of the wind flow across the Atlantic. And then the brown represents, again, the dust. And you kind of see that pinwheel out and away. So we do get a little bit of that into Puerto Rico, into the Dominican Republic and Haiti, maybe eastern Cuba and Jamaica as well. But then it kind of dissipates and then floats away as it kind of gets ripped apart, ripped up, and kind of lofted through the North Atlantic closer to Bermuda. So this is not certainly a big batch of dust coming down the pipeline. But it's something, again, you may notice that milky sky, that hazy sky. We're enhanced sunsets. It might be the perfect concentration for that, again, in the Lesser Antilles, Leeward, Windward Islands, and then through Puerto Rico as well. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, if you found this helpful, please give this a thumbs up. Also, put in the comment section where you're tuning in from. And again, we will catch you next time.